Hey everybody, and welcome to Meet the Music. I'm Greg Gnipp. I'm your host, and well, Meet the Music. What do we do here? It's about music. We talk to the people, the guys, the gals, whoever's making music in the area. It can be anything from rockabilly to rock to pop to country. You name it. If it's music, we want to meet the music. I'm telling you, Windsor and Essex County has had some amazing musicians, and you know, some bands have lasted longer than others, and this is one of those kind of bands that has definitely stood the test of time. Guitar Army, you guys, welcome to Meet the Music.
Thanks.
25 years this November.
Yep.
What a long, strange trip it's been.
And well, I mean, some marriages don't last 25 years. How do you make 20? How do four guys stay together for 25 years doing music like this?
You tell.
Just having fun doing it, enjoying it. We enjoy each other's company, which is really hard to do, but we do. Put up with each other and just play music and have a blast.
But I mean, there must be some times where you're like, like a marriage where you're like.
I think these guys, when I call out songs that they don't really know.
I love that the way they are all now looking at you. They're all coming.
Yeah, you know,
once in a while.
We, like I said, the key is that we enjoy each other's company. You know, there's the egos, there's no egos. Yeah. Everybody yells out a song, and we all agree or we don't agree, and we just kind of go by that. We don't. You know, if one person doesn't want to do it, we pretty much don't do it.
All right, so over the 25 years, you've released 4 albums, which is a long break in between. How come only 4?
Money.
Honesty, right? Yeah.
We've got a lot of songs, and just time. And we had a different guitar player. Pat Sprague was with us for many years. He passed away, so there was some time lapse there.
Sure. Now, when you guys were writing the albums and stuff like that, was it a big mutual affair where everybody had a chance to write something, or is it like? Did everybody kind of join in on the fun?
Everybody has a chance, but I seem to take over a little bit.
Well, he has most of the songs. This guy writes 1 million songs, but the door's open. Anybody wants to write a song and put it on the album, he'll welcome that.
Yeah, Dale usually writes the lyrics. He sends out like an acoustic version of the song, and then we all kind of work off of that.
Yep. Now you guys are a live band. Like I think of you guys, I think of seeing you guys around town, but is it when you would go into the studio? A lot of times people say, didn't like being in the studio so much because we like to be out on stage. But were you guys okay with the recording stuff, or?
Oh yeah, it took time. I mean, we've been in different studios and we had to find our comfort zone in the studio. A couple beers helps.
It's amazing. It loosens things up, and there's always a good laugh.
Yeah, for sure.
But I think I'm speaking for myself, not anybody else. But I'd rather do the live shows any day than being in the studio. But that's just me. And
it's so weird, though. I mean, today, when you see people recording, I mean, now bands record in their basement. Yeah. Gone are the days where you have to be locked into a studio for a weekend or what have you.
True. Yeah, it's big different now. I mean, you can record on your phone now. Yeah. You can get good quality recording on
that. Yeah. Now, would you guys think of releasing, will you be releasing anything for your 25th anniversary, or?
Nothing planned for releasing.
Bootlegs. We got a bunch of bootlegs.
We got a lot of live recordings, actually, we could throw out,
Which would be awesome.
Yeah, that's
because, I mean, it would be a lot of fun.
You should be our manager.
What's that?
You should be our manager.
I'm sorry. I'm out of the show. Let's go. Now, you guys, having seen you guys play, and I was always impressed that there would always be surprise guests. And you guys have played with some rather unique individuals, and one is a pretty famous hockey player from the Windsor area. You guys had Bob Probert at the Aardvark Blues Bar, which we were talking about. Boy, do I miss that.
Yes, all of us.
So what happened there? How did that all happen?
Well, we were playing at the Aardvark, and Bob came in with his entourage of women, and other people too. But and you know, he was feeling pretty good, like Bob usually did. And I think Dale just asked him if he wanted to sing, and I don't even know if Bob is a singer or ever sang, but he didn't say no. He bought us a shot, and then he came up there and he sang. And like I say, he came up and sang, and then we also played with Darren McCarty. Came up and sang with us on another occasion at a different spot, a couple of songs. 'Cause, you know, he's a musician, right? So
Oh, yeah.
So a couple of Red Wings we played with, yeah.
Bob Rober run, yeah.
Yeah, it was nice.
See, that's actually really cool. And now you've also done stuff, if I'm not mistaken, with MC5.
Dennis Thompson from the MC5 played with us. Yeah, the drummer.
Like that must have been
That was pretty
like.
unique.
I mean, that's got. I mean, you're talking legend there.
Oh yeah, and this was at the Loop, and I never forget. We did our sound check earlier. The band, like we had a band, and then he came up and did a few songs with our band.
Right.
And after he came up, the guy at the board said, "Forget that sound check," because he hit so hard. He was just banging those drums.
They call him Machine Gun.
Oh,
That's
he was
his
Machine Gun
nickname.
Thompson, yeah.
Yeah,
That was
and
great.
then you know, with Scott Morgan of the Rationals, very famous Detroit band, he did a whole night with us together.
They did a few
with us.
shows, yeah.
Now,
That was cool.
is there anybody? Okay, so 25 years of Guitar Army. Who would you else like if you could have somebody else come on and join you? Like, who would it be?
Iggy
Iggy, yeah, for sure. Yeah,
or Alice Cooper coming up.
yeah. Maybe we get Alice up.
See, I could see. See, I would be impressed. Like Iggy Pop, definitely, but Alice Cooper would be really cool.
We're playing the show coming up at Cosmos, and he's playing that night in the Coliseum. So we're hoping, you know, after this interview airs, they'll be calling your people.
I'll have my people call his people.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You know, who I like is Dave Grohl. I think he'd be great.
Oh, yeah.
Because he's into a lot of classic rock, and he'd just scream it out.
And he's fun.
Oh, yeah.
Like he always just makes me think that like he'd be like the kind of guy that like, and then after the show you'd go and like get like food with him and just like be
Drink
like,
coffee.
Can you believe we played that? Oh my God, I can't believe we did that. So you did a show in Vegas.
Yeah.
And,
Played a weekend. We played a weekend there.
like that's awesome. Like how does a band from Windsor get picked up?
We knew Elvis many years ago. He hooked us up. You know,
Frank Sinatra gave us a rough one.
with a new Rat Pack.
We got lucky in Vegas. That's the way I look at it. We met the right people, and we were promoting Going to Detroit album.
Right.
And it was a Canadian Day. It was Canada
Yeah.
Day celebration, so we were kind of representing Canada as well. We had the flags all over, Canadian flags, so it was kind of cool.
We
that way.
played at the D stage, was Detroit-based
Right.
place, so that was cool
Right on
too.
Fremont Street. Yeah, nice.
But I mean that's got to be like one of those kind of things. You play the Loop, you play the Aardvark, you play like this, and then all of a sudden it's like Caesar's Palace is up there. You know, you've got all the flashing lights, and it's got to be just mind blowing.
We made it. Yeah, I know it was good times. Obviously, really good times.
Yeah.
100 degrees both days we played, of course. That's Vegas, but
But dry heat.
dry heat. Yeah, I was not sweating as much.
Right, and I always love when people say the dry heat. I'm like, an oven's dry heat too, and I don't want to be in the oven either.
No, blast furnace.
But that's what you do for rock and roll. If you have to play out in the heat.
It is. It's that whole thing. Now, what do you have planned for the 25th anniversary? Do you guys have a bunch of shows coming up? And
What we plan to do is to do a show in the East End. We're not going to base where we're doing it yet, but one's going to be in the East End, one's going to be in the West End. Because a lot of people don't want to travel to the East End when we play,
And
the
vice
West
versa.
Enders, and vice versa. So
see, and I find that is such a this area. You know, right? If you're in Toronto, somebody says, "Well, the show's 40 minutes away." Okay, you drive 40 minutes.
Yeah.
But if for some reason East doesn't want to go West,
I know a lot of our friends who come out and see us from the West End or downtown will just stay in that area, and people in the East End like to stay in the East End. So we do 2 shows. It's even better
Hey,
for us.
that's great.
It's our 25th year. We can do a million shows, right? Doesn't matter.
Now, and it seems like after with the pandemic, I don't want to say winding down, but things have reopened. Seems like people are really going out to see live music again.
Yeah.
Even I think it even seems more passionate than pre-pandemic.
You're absolutely right.
I think they forgot how much they missed it, and then it came back, and they love it even more now. They're afraid the rug may be pulled again, so they're just seeing as much as they can. I think.
Everybody was just itching to get out. It was the longest time. We're all sort of locked into our own little worlds and watching Netflix until our face turns blue.
Yeah.
But as soon as it opened back up, it just seemed we were getting a ton of calls to go play places, and people were showing up.
I know we were talking about. I said it seems like people are and they're embracing old time rock and roll. Goner, they don't want to hear the tracks behind them. They want to hear guys just going up there and playing instruments.
I think everything comes back, during the late 70s where everything was just multi-layered and all that. And then, sometimes it has to simplify itself again, like in punk did in the late 70s, early 80s. It kind of brought everything back to the grassroots and the drums and the bass and forget about all the other stuff. And it's kind of like revolving that way again, where it's kids are starting to appreciate the real rock and roll, as far as we're concerned.
And at your shows, it's got to be a pretty diverse crowd because you guys have a punk influence. You've got a real bluesy side. So, are you noticing that? It's are you getting in some of the younger kids coming in?
Yeah,
kind of
definitely.
right. And it sounds. I don't know if it's wrong to say, but kind of almost rediscover the scene.
No, for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And a lot of the old rockers who were they wanted the old classical rock. Now they're into the Ramones. They're requesting Ramones.
Right,
and
they didn't
from
know
us.
it at the time. Now it's
we've opened their eyes to that.